doesn't matter if you're an Indian or if you're a Warhawk.
The ULM mention is the greatest. You'd hope for the best as a ULM fan, but
this is the Bleav in the Warhawks podcast with hosts Dusty Thibodeaux and Chase Regian.
Chase, you always have such great insight.
Tibbs is going to bleep it all.
What are these guys always talking about?
We talk a lot about food on this podcast, and I'm going to continue to do so.
Really, really appreciative of the people and the community and the way that they've backed us up.
Nailed the introduction, by the way. Awesome.
Thanks,
I love
Fish.
it.
Chase.
Yes, sir.
We have a current vacancy on the Bayou right now.
Okay.
Athletic director. Are you up for the challenge?
No, heck to the heck no. Absolutely not.
Why? It's an easy job, right? You just hire, fire coaches, you shake hands, kiss babies, and all that, right?
Absolutely not. That is that is an incredibly hard job to do that I won't be qualified for maybe ever.
Why? You don't like having the public question your every move regardless what it is?
Tibbs, I can barely balance my own budget, much less balance the budget of a multi-million-dollar operation.
Well, then you got to go to the bank, right? And we have the man that is the banker, the former athletic director, current chief of staff for our lovely president, Kerry Castile. Scott McDonald joins us. Welcome in there, Scott.
Thank you, Dusty. Thank you, Chase. Glad to be here.
Come on.
So Scott, we got to kick off with that. When your days of being athletic director, what are some of the nuances of that job that maybe most people don't realize the job entails?
Wow. Okay. I think there's things that go on that you don't really want the public to know about. I mean, I'll give you an example. When I first came in, I went over to Malone Stadium. I was actually officing in Sandal Hall on campus, and I walked in, and it was a summer thunderstorm. And people were walking, and, what are you doing? And back then, the rain, when it rained, the rain was pouring into the offices, and they would have to put plastic sheeting over their monitors and over their paperwork, and leave the office and go work from home for a period of time. And, we would have to clean it up and get ceiling tiles and so work with the governor then to try to, literally get our roof repaired. And so there's so many little things that go on behind the scenes like that just allow your people to work and be successful. And, sometimes got neglected so things like that. I think the logistics of putting on a contest, and y'all have seen behind the scenes, y'all been on the road, y'all see what goes on just to get a team from Monroe to whatever place you're traveling, whether it be by bus or whether it be by plane, and all the logistics that go into that, and the things that have the opportunity to go wrong, and you have to be prepared to make alternate plans when those things do go wrong.
Scott, I know that when I think of ULM, there's a few people I think of. It's definitely you and your family, but I've never had the chance to ask you this question. Okay, and it's a question we ask usually on this podcast, like why ULM, but I think it has a different weight here. What obviously you played baseball there. Tibbs didn't introduce that. You won a championship, if I'm correct. You got you a
That's correct.
Southland Conference championship.
First in ULM team, yeah, we won a Southland Conference championship. The first year we won the conference, and first team to ever appear in an NCAA regional.
Do you still have the ring?
I do.
Come on,
it means something to us. You know what I'm?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have one, but I understand what it would mean if you do have one. My question to you, man, is why ULM? Why you continuously invest in the place with your time, energy, and money, and what does it mean to you? Why do you still hang around?
I'd say this: my mom and dad, coming from Holly Ridge, first generation college folks. This is where they chose to come to go to school, and offer them opportunities to move out of the cotton fields and have another kind of life. And then as they went back to grad school and I was a little boy in the 60s, I would come to the campus, and I can remember them dropping me off at the old sub. And, and the guy running the sub would keep an eye on me while everybody played pool and bowled, and they went to grad school. But, and then, I had an opportunity, growing up here, certainly go to a lot of events on campus. My dad worked here at the time. And, but, I went and visited other campuses when it came time for me to go to school as well. And in fact, my parents were so sure that I might go somewhere else, they gave me luggage my senior year for Christmas. And so, I would go and visit these other campuses, and I just didn't feel it was the right fit for me. And, and then Coach Sandoval was kind enough to recruit me, and he created a vision for me and what this could be. And, when I first got to the campus, we were playing, where the ladies are playing softball now. That was the baseball field originally, but by my senior year, we were able to enter into the, what is now the Lou Sandoval Field, Warhawks Stadium there. And Coach Sandoval had a huge influence on all of us to say, hey, it's our duty, it's our obligation to give back, so that others could have an experience much like we experienced. And so I've always felt that way. And there were so many people who helped me along the way, and a lot of them were associated with this university and had a huge impact on my life. And so even when I lived in Indianapolis, we tried to do everything we could to come back and be a part of it, just like you two, who are not living in the community here. And so, and it's rewarding to be able to come in and feel like you can do something to help advance the university and the campus. And this current president, Dr. Carrie Castile, is very smart, very dynamic, and working on her leadership. Feel like we can make huge improvements so that we can experience this kind of student success that y'all felt when you were on campus here.
How many times when Coach Lou called you or saw you, did he say, "Hey, baby"?
Hey, baby. You buffoon. But, Coach, I do remember, he stressed to us that this was an honor to play here. And he, obviously he's remained connected. And certainly, the fact that, we have a relationship, that's something that, you don't have, many student athletes don't actually have a relationship with their coach this many years later. I mean, and look, I'm not going in the Hall of Fame of my playing career, that's for sure. But Coach Sandoval, we've remained very close. I finished in 1983, and to this day, I mean, he's a big part of my life, and he loves this university, and so following that leadership example, just like I did when I was playing for him.
So on the athletic director front, you came after some great ones there with Bruce Hanks. I think Brian Wickstrom did some good things there on campus, Bobby Staub. Did any of them kind of talk to you and give you those words of encouragement? And then knowing that we have that opening, what are your words to kind of pass that torch on down to the next guy that comes along the bayou?
Bruce and I actually became very and remain very close friends during his experience here as athletic director, because I had just moved back from Indianapolis and had an opportunity to try to help him as a volunteer, in the community. And then I thought Bobby Staub did a tremendous job. I thought he was a very effective athletic director, and certainly experienced some success here. Brian Wickstrom came in and tried to raise a lot of money and do things a little differently. And so I think, I certainly have, enjoyed my relationship and talked to Bruce, more than anybody really, because he's still in the community. And when I ran into problems or ran into things that I was contemplating, I certainly turned to Bruce more than anyone else. And, his guidance was, he's an honest guy. His integrity is unquestioned, as are the other folks. But I just was personally closer to Bruce. He's been a tremendous influence on my life in lots of ways, including athletic director.
He
Well, we
never
know-
convinced you to dress up as a Warhawk or an Indian or anything like that.
No,
though,
I
like he
didn't. I
did.
didn't. I didn't dress up as Chief Brave Spirit. But he was willing to do anything he could to advance this university, and still is. I mean, we still talk, probably once a week or so, about things, and he's a extremely good friend and just a person of integrity.
Well, we know we've got an interim AD right now, and I know you've worked close with Coach Bryant Vincent, offense coordinator Bryant Vincent, and athletic director Bryant Vincent. What's your words of advice to him at this moment? Like how do you try to share your wisdom and try to help him through this transitionary moment?
Well, I tell him if we offer him another job, he just needs to maybe wait till Coach Vincent, in fact, I saw him tonight. I spoke to him this morning, and so when he needs things or things that to bounce off of, I'm here to try to help him. And he's a tremendous individual. I don't think I tell y'all. I mean, he's a unicorn, and he wears this thing. It's personal. I think for you to be successful here, it has to be personal with you, and he cares so much about his players, and all he wants is the best for his players, and that now that goes across all the sports in the athletic department, and I'm here to support him and help him, and we talk several times a week typically, and it's really just more of to listen to him, and I mean he knows, he has the vision, he knows what he wants to do, and so I just try to listen and encourage him.
Chief of Staff, it has a lot more letters than just AD. What's this new title that you're doing as you try to help welcome in the 10th president on the Bayou? Well,
that wasn't certainly the plan. I was headed toward retirement. In fact, I retired for a week, my wife likes to say, and this president is she's very bright, she's very passionate about what she's doing in this university. She's clear-eyed in what she wants to accomplish here, and so anything I can do to help her, maybe from an institutional knowledge standpoint, as y'all both know, I was involved in working with Dr. Bruno to create the ULM Facilities Corp, which helped completely reimagine this campus and build new housing, and then several other projects certainly after that. So it's just been a pleasure to take that knowledge and the things that I brought from banking. And obviously, we fought some budget issues and things in that nature, and certainly my background in commercial banking has been helpful there. And so just working with Dr. Castile and trying to give her some ideas of the history of where we are and things that have been done in the past, and maybe a better path for us, because I tell you, we talk about it all the time. We don't want to just survive. It's about thriving. Don't survive, thrive. And that's what she's all about.
Yeah. I think most, fans of the institution of ULM and also athletics are really excited for the leadership that we have with Brian Vincent, with Dr. Castile. But Scott, I need some insider information. Okay. And my question is, how do we thrive in this time? I know money's always talked about when we talk about ULM, budgets, yada, yada, but what's next for us? In your opinion, where are we headed? How do we take that next step as an institution?
I think, Chase, I mean, we've, and it goes back to just what I said. I mean, we scratch and we claw and we fight, but we've got to find a way to advance this in a way that we haven't in the past. And so that means raising money that we've not raised maybe in the past. We've already seen some of that with Coach Vincent, as he's tapped into sources that we haven't had in the past. And now, to be honest with you, I mean, we had a meeting Sunday morning. I was in Fairhope and I called in, and Coach Vincent and Dr. Kerry Castile and our interim director of the foundation, Cindy Faust, we had a 2-hour meeting on some things that we're putting into place to help us provide resources that we haven't had access to in the past. And so we're engaging partners that, some of which have been very generous to us, and we're asking them to continue to be generous. We're asking others to maybe move up to a level, and we think we have a great story to tell. And then we have some new, y'all know that we have some exciting things going on just north of here, or just east of here in Holly Ridge with Meta and all the folks that's involved with that's bringing new money into our community. So we continue to work those angles. We have a great partner in the Edward Via School of Osteopathic Medicine. Fortunately, I was involved with that very early before I came to the university, and I was asked to serve on that board. I continue to serve on that board here, and the president has also been asked to serve on that board. So they've been an unbelievable partner, and so there's places that we're going, and people that we're talking to that are very excited about the vision of the folks that you just talked about, Dr. Castile and her team, and then also, Coach Vincent and what he's establishing. And so we're very confident that the resources that we're going to need to compete and be successful are there. And certainly we're heartened by the fact that, our soccer team, for example, our women's soccer team is in first place, and they play in Lafayette Wednesday, and they'll beat the Cajuns Wednesday and finish the season undefeated.
Love that.
Yeah, we were watching the game over the weekend, and had somebody that not have been around me watching the Warhawks, and I was yelling, screaming as I always do. And the guy just looked at me like, it's women's soccer. I was like, I know, but we needed a win. We didn't need a draw.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Scott, we always got to have good story time. You got to tell us a good story time from your time as AD, something that you still just kind of shake your head going, there's no way that happened, or even from back in the day when you were playing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. I've got, I got 6 pages of things that happened during my time that some are probably worth talking about, some we probably shouldn't. But I remember one, our women's basketball team played at App State one night, finished the game, and then they had to play, 2 days later in Coastal. So they got on the bus and they were driving back to they want to stay in Charlotte before they moved down to Conway to play Coastal Carolina. And on their way down to Coastal, while they were still in the mountains, their bus caught on fire. And so they pulled over, and the bus driver jumped off the bus and ran down the road. And our assistant coaches jumped in, found the fire extinguisher, because they remembered that we had brand new uniforms underneath the bus, and they certainly didn't want to lose those. So I had, two of my assistant coaches were underneath the bus with a fire extinguisher. And eventually the volunteer fire department, because it was out in the middle of nowhere, volunteer fire department comes and picks them up, puts the fire out, takes them to the firehouse, and they had to wait 3 hours there for the next bus. And so when you talk about, things that people, don't know about, I'm getting these calls, and I'm trying to find and help them find transportation to get them to Charlotte and make sure they have food when they get there. And then if they don't play well in a couple of days, people go, gosh, I thought we should have beaten Coastal Carolina. It's like, you have no idea, what happened. But, things like that happen a great deal, and and you just kind of move, you take them in stride and you move on. But, I think, one of the great stories is that gets really doesn't get told is that when we won the conference against Lamar in the finals for the Sun Belt Conference, the Southland Conference Championship, we had to be in Austin, Texas the next day because of some rainouts. We were late getting our bid, and we had to be in Austin, Texas. And so it was a real quick turnaround. And back then, the NCAA only allowed 20 players to be on the roster when you went to the NCAA regional. So Coach Sandoval had to make a very difficult decision about, who he could take and who couldn't be on the roster. And so the 20 of us that were on the active roster flew the next morning, but Coach Sandoval personally paid for the other players to have bus transportation to Austin, Texas. and made sure they had, because the NCAA didn't even have a ticket for them. We had to pay for their tickets, and he personally paid, which was illegal at the time, paid for their tickets so they could be in the, so they could come to the game and be a part. And then when we left that regional, instead of flying back, all of us got on the bus and bus back so that we could be together as a team. And a lot of that he paid for out of his own personal pocket.
Isn't it crazy? Something like that of doing the right thing was so illegal at the time.
Yes, I mean, just incredible. But that's the pendulum's kind of swung the other way. But yeah, I mean, I think you remember those things, right? And I mean, he didn't. I mean, I would tell you to this day, a lot of those players don't know that he came out of his own pocket for that, paid for the meals and everything.
Fantastic stuff, Scott. I can't thank you enough for breaking away and talking with us. We definitely got to have you back because your stories trump anything that I have or that Chase has.
Oh, way more than I've got. That was by far.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about trapping raccoons in the ceiling in the athletic department, or
getting rid of the bats, or
the bats. Yeah, we spent a lot of money with bat nets, and but no, I mean, there's things, and you either laugh about it or but I'm sure we'll meet up on the road. Chase, you don't join us on the road as much as you used to. I get to see Dusty more than I see you.
Oh man, I know it. Hopefully that change is coming up. But I think I'm going to the rest of the game, so I should be good to go here moving forward.
Well, we'll all get together and sit down and we can tell some stories.
We'll have to. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
I love it. Thanks, guys. Chase, we always have our story time, but that took the cake.
Best one for sure so far. And I'm sure he's got a lot more in the pocket. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to be careful because I'm sure he knows where some skeletons are.
But that just means that, as he said, you're not on the road much, that we got to make a little road trip, put a couple old fashions in him and just sit back and enjoy the show.
I'll have to come down early to Texas State, San Marcos, and go pick him up at the hotel. We'll go pick him up and take him to dinner. Yeah,
I guess
what a nice guy.
I got to go in on Friday then, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. What a legend, man. I'm grateful for his time. I really think someone I've looked up to since I've met him, just of his passion for the university and how much he loves athletics, but also the whole institution, and he's used his skills to better that place. And I'm as a friend, I'm really proud of him, and as a someone who looks up to him, I'm just grateful that we have him there at ULM.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he definitely, they always talk about leave your legacy, make it a little bit better for when you leave. He's definitely done that. And I don't think that he gets the credit maybe of some of the other ADs that we've had, but he definitely left his mark. And I think more importantly, that kind of flies under the radar. He was the AD during COVID. And we know that was the game changer of game changers. We didn't know what tomorrow was going to have, what next week, month. Was this COVID thing just going to be a forever and ever amen, or was it going to end, 6 months from now?
Yeah, absolutely. And he took some calculated risks that, not all of them panned out, but just as easily could have gotten lucky and all of them panned out. And then he was just the best AD we ever had. But I don't think it's fair to say, he dealt with so much turmoil during his time. I don't think it's fair to say, he was good or bad. I just, like I said, just appreciate him being willing to take on that role. When you asked me that question, I thought to myself, ain't no way in hell, Tibbs, I would ever do that. That is a shit job. I don't care if you're at Bama. I don't care if you're at Georgia. It's a hard job that I really respect the people that do it, but it ain't for everyone.
As much as we may not like Tommy McClellan, Tommy McClellan, former Louisiana Tech AD, currently AD at Rice.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Regian Review talking with them when Rice played at Lafayette.
Why would he do that?
but kudos to him for jumping on.
So. Yeah.
And they asked him straight up, what the hell were you thinking when you said the whole, Lafayette should strive to be in an elite conference like Conference USA? And anyway, a big thing that Tommy McClellan really said is, when you're at these small schools, you're front and center regardless. And so your kids that are in the elementary school are going to hear about how bad their dad is. They're going to, the wives are going to hear all that. He goes, if you're at a LSU or Alabama, your inner circle, you may hear it, but you're not going to hear it really that your kids are in that elementary school and being told your dad sucks, because he fired Saban or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that that's so true, especially in Monroe, that I would have a hard time being isolated where I'm making the important decisions for the athletic program. And when you fan are going, oh, that's not how I do it, be like, dude, shut up and let me cook. If I screw it up, guess what? You'll persecute me. Don't do it right now.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's almost like these places being like a public official, right? Like everybody's watching you. Everybody puts the blame on you, and I don't know. I think sometimes we dehumanize people in those positions, and at the end of the day, he just loves his institution. He came in at a time where he needed to make. They needed somebody with fiscal responsibility, and he brought that to the position. And I really liked the hire when it was made, and I think he left at a good time, and it's easy to leave that when he did and be scorned and be upset, and he didn't. He loves the place, and he wanted to, in any way that he could be involved, he still was. Even after even with John Hartwell, he was still, he met John, he gave John money from what I know, I think, and he was. That takes a lot. It just shows you a lot of where his heart is regarding ULM.
I know it's my school. I love it. People look at me crazy. I have my football poster up at my desk. It hurt when I had to put my L over the Southern Miss today. And a guy walks by and goes, "What's all those L's for?" And I was like, unlucky. He goes, you should do a U then. I was like, so okay. Well, if we lose any more, it's going to be a U from now on.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I love when people walk into my office. They're like, "What is that?" Like, that's the University of Louisiana Monroe. Where is that? It's like, it's in Northeast Louisiana. It's just my place, man. I don't know why. I just love it. And then I say, go listen to Fun Belt Podcast and Bleav in the Warhawks, and you'll get it.
And they say, what?
And they say, can you send me a link? And I never do, because I'm just embarrassed to do it.
You're embarrassed by it? What? Come on.
I'm embarrassed by myself, not by you, Tibbs. You do a great job. You just drag us both along while I fuck this up.
Hey, just like they tell the running backs, keep your feet moving. Keep your feet moving. Keep your feet moving.
You've done a lot of that this last. What are we on? 60 yet?
Ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah, pretty good.
I don't know. It pops up every once in a while when I upload the show to push out to Apple and Spotify and everywhere else we are. That congrats. This is episode whatever.
This is milestone. Like, yeah, cool.
All right. Another show coming out later this week. Going to talk a little Old Dominion with the Monarchists. Great podcast to listen to. Great guys. They get it, man. As passionate as we are about ULM, they are all in on ODU. They help out big time with their NIL. Chase, they have their own beer.
Dang.
What are
we doing, bro? What are we doing? We can't even get stickers. What are we doing?
We'll see what we can do going forward. But you know what's going to happen is that you're going to put one on like Aiden Armenta's helmet, and they're going to zoom in on him, and there's going to be like this Bleav in the Warhawks sticker, and they're going to be like, "Is that like a new alternate logo they have?" Like, yes, it is.
Right. Yes, this week. Is. Yes, it is. We Bleav. Absolutely, we do.
So until next time, Chase, we'll do it again then.
Always a pleasure, my friend.